Hi, I'm Lee Iridium. Hope everyone's doing all right today. So, review time. Loads of albums come out yesterday. This is the second album by The End Machine called Phase 2. So, in this band, got some great musicians. You've got Robert Mason on vocals, so ex-Lynch Mob. You've got George Lynch on guitar, Dokken, Lynch Mob. Jeff Pilson on bass, Dokken. Loads of other shit. He's done so much. And Steve Brown on the drums, who's Mick Brown's brother. So Mick Brown, obviously Dokken, and this is his brother, Steve Brown. So let's give a shout out to every musician on this album. Obviously there's some seasoned people there, seasoned veterans, but Steve Brown, I don't know if he's played in any other bands before, but he is brilliant, does an excellent job on this. Let's give a shout out to him straight away. He pounds them drums just like his brother. And hopefully not too much. He does on the videos anyway, because you know, it wore Mick out in the end. So let's hope that Steve, you know, just calms down a bit. So, but absolutely brilliant job by every person on this album. George Lynch in form on this. Some great guitar work. His guitar tone is just, you know, as it should be. The George Lynch guitar tone that we know. Robert Mason's vocals, man. He's a great vocalist, and out of the Lynch Mob vocalists, I actually like him the most. I think he's got a great voice. And obviously you get big Lynch Mob vibes throughout this album because his vocals are on it. I'll tell you what, Jeff Pilson is so underrated as a bass player. It rumbles in this album. The bass rumbles underneath this album. There's some tracks I'm going to talk about here where it just comes at you. You know, it's a brilliant bass sound. The mix is, I love the mix of the bass. I wish and it's just George Lynch's guitar tone really. I just wish sometimes it had a bit more crunch to it. You know, when you heard Unchained the Night, when it really goes into the chugging parts, a bit of crunch. I think sometimes that's the only thing I would say about this album altogether. It's a great album, but sometimes I just wish there was a bit of crunch and a bit of chugging going on, just like we did in the old Dokken days. But I know it's not 1985, I know that, but and George Lynch's guitar playing is just absolutely fantastic throughout. I think it just to do with the mix as well, with the guitar mix itself. Just a bit of crunch sometimes. But apart from that, his guitar and it is absolutely superb. So, like I said, second album, On Frontiers, again. What I liked about this album, and I think I said in my, I did a couple of reactions to the first two songs that came out, is that I mentioned the first album, the debut album, didn't get on with it that much. I thought it was losing a lot of hooks. Didn't have many hooks. Bit too bluesy. I'm not a real bluesy guy. Not that much. You know, I prefer my straightforward heavy rock, melodic rock and metal. But this touches upon blues, but it doesn't do it too much. You know, this is mainly a heavy, melodic, heavy rock album. Sometimes bordering on metal. But the blues is sort of pushed aside a little bit more and the hooks are back, which is the hooks are there now, this is the second time around. So I was really happy about that. This is a good album. So kicking off the album, The Rising, it's like a minute and 9 seconds intro guitar and a bit of clean guitar and a bit of lead guitar sort of thing, just getting us kicked off. Then into the first single, Blood and Money. Anyone knows I love this song. It's a real rocker. It's a good opener. If you want to check out my reaction, go back and check that out, and you know what I think of that song. Great song to kick off with. Next up, We Walk Alone.
We walk alone. We walk alone.
This is like a real soulful sort of bluesy vocal delivery. So it's not a real bluesy sort of song, but especially in the verse, he's got a really cool vocal delivery by Robert Mason. I love the way the verses sort of glide along with those vocals over. It's sort of really cool groove on this one. It's probably my favourite part, the verses on this song. But excellent, like I said, vocal delivery on this one. This Robert Mason, man, what a great vocalist. He sort of sings I'd love to hear him in something else. Let me know in the comments below if he's been in another band that's completely different. It's sort of like, this has definitely got a Lynch Mob feel to it, because obviously you've got George Lynch with him and you get them vibes straight away. I'd like to hear him in something else as well. Great vocalist. Next up, track 4, Dark Divide. So this is another one that I think this might have been brought out as a single as well. I'm not sure, yesterday. I might be wrong. This is where you first hear Jeff Pilson's bass just rumbling at the bottom end of this. This one, especially through the verses, and it happens quite often. You hear it, it's like, whoa, listen to that. They've got a really cool sound on it. Like I said, he's a great bass player. This has a sort of real Lynch Mob feel to it. Dark Divide. There's a lovely little bit of guitar work between the chorus and the verses as well. Sort of a nice subtle song, sort of understated song this. I love Dark Divide. It's a great track. Next up we have Crack the Sky, which was the second single.
I don't know that.
I didn't ask Alexa. Fuck's sake. Next up is Crack the Sky, second single. Jeff Pilson's bass again, rumbling underneath that mix. It's absolutely amazing. Track 6 is one of my favourites on the album, and that's Prison or Paradise. Again, I can hear that bass sort of throughout the verses, the gallop this time. Love the chorus in this one. It really lifts on the chorus, which is what a chorus should do. I think this one has more a real Dokken feel to it, which is really cool. Nice solo. Classic Lynch solo, man, and the solos are amazing throughout this album. They are absolutely amazing. He's really on form on this. I'm really glad about this. Next up, Plastic Heroes.
Just like plastic heroes.
So this is another good track, one of my favourite tracks. After a short sort of, not quite a cappella, because there's a little bit of music, but you know, there's that sort of singing at the beginning. It kicks off with a great riff. The bass again rumbling in the bottom end. Nice chorus with keys used very subtly. So not many keys on this album at all, but they come in on this song very subtly, and I quite like it because it's sort of a nice contrast to the sort of heavier verses. Nice little breakdown before the solo with some sort of AC/DC-esque sort of guitar picking, which is quite cool. I like this one. Has some good light and shade to it. It's quiet. Light parts, quiet and heavy parts. Absolutely cool. Really cool song. Next up is a ballad, Scars. So it's like a bluesy ballad though. Sort of bluesy vocals going over this ballad. It's sort of nice though to have it broken up. There's been quite a lot of heaviness up to this point. So to have a sort of a ballad is quite cool. Scars is a great song. Next one, another one of my favourites, Shine Your Light.
Shine your light on me.
Nice riff kicking this one off and throughout. I love the sort of stop-start chorus. It's sort of like, it's not just the guitars and that, not just playing through, it's stopping and starting, which is cool. It sort of made a change. And this sort of, you get the most out of the drummer on this, Steve Brown. You can really hear him thumping those drums on this and that snare on this chorus, mainly because of that stop-start thing, but he does a brilliant job. You wouldn't know it weren't Mick on drums. He's done a really good job on this. Next up, it's probably my least favourite song, probably because it's the most bluesy song, Devil's Playground. So I mean, this sort of song would have fitted on the Dirty Shirley sort of release by George Lynch and Dino Chalusic. You know, a lot of people love that Dirty Shirley album. I loved the playing, the guitaring, and the vocals were just fantastic. But I think they missed a trick. I would love to hear, I think Dino Chalusic, going off track a little bit, I want to hear him sing metal. That's what I want, not blues. Anyway, that's my opinion, no one else's. Anyway, second to last track, Born of Fire. Love the clean guitar tone of Lynch's guitar on this. It's just unmistakable. Chorus is very Lynch Mob. In fact, when I heard the chorus, I thought, that sounds like another song, a Lynch Mob song. And after a little bit of pondering and a little bit of thought, Hellchild. It reminds me of Hellchild, which is a great song, by the way. But I'm not saying it's a copy. All I'm saying is listen to the chorus of this, listen to Hellchild by Lynch Mob, and you'll probably get it. You'll probably understand what I'm talking about. We close off. It's a good track, by the way, one of my favourites. And then it closes off with one of my favourites as well, Destiny. Kicks off with like a little bit of a bluesy riff, but then it comes out in and out of the song, that sort of riff. Again, bass rumbling underneath, and then, you know, Lynch's guitar kicks in once that, it sort of starts off with just the bass rumbling, and then when Lynch's guitar kicks in, it's just Dokken vibes all over that one. So a great album, a great album. I'm not saying it's going to hit top 5 or anything of this year, because there's so many good releases, but I love the improvement from the debut to this. Is a big improvement, and now I'm getting excited about more stuff from them, because I think they're, you know, they're getting in their stride. I think it's great, absolutely great. It is definitely a mix of both bands there, Dokken and Lynch Mob. You've got the little bit of bluesy stuff of Lynch Mob, you know, but the Dokken's stuff's there, the melodies are there, so very cool. Let me know what you think of Phase 2 in the comments below. Do you think it's an improvement on the debut album? Do you think there's a shift in direction and the melodies? Let me know, and I'll see you next time.